I decided to head west even though there was a possibility that it could get a little stormy. But that was later in the day. For now, the sun was shining and everything was gorgeous. Just a little bit of light breeze, mule deer grazing on all that new green grass in the hillsides. Plenty of birds singing down along Dog Pound Creek, and though things are still pretty brown, the water was flowing nice and clear. Yeah, green was in kind of short supply along Dog Pound Creek, but it won't be long. And there was plenty of blue. Bluebirds are back everywhere now. Found a mourning dove too. Love that blue eyeshadow. Blue sky was pretty much the rule as I drove on west. And over here down along Little Red Deer River, gorgeous. Look at the silver on all those aspens. Those are catkins, aspen flowers catching the sun. I got really lucky with the angle of the light on this. Down in the valley, the Little Red Deer River was burbling along. There was some ice left over in the shady parts of the shoreline, and they'll likely be there for a while. But out in the sun, everything was nice and sparkly. Last year's rose hips with brand new leaves just about to pop. And a few willow catkins, too. But the further west I went, the cloudier it got. Then all of a sudden, this happened. Yeah, thunder. That was totally unexpected. A little rain, sure, but thunder? But I passed underneath that shelf of clouds over into the Harold Creek Valley. Found these mergansers swimming along, and Canada geese, which are absolutely everywhere. And plenty of water in the beaver ponds, too. So I continued on a little bit further west and popped over the divide down to the headwaters of the Little Red Deer River. Wasn't quite the same over there. Looked like maybe something else was starting to brew. It was definitely colder. There was still ice on the beaver ponds over this way. But once we get a few days of warm sunshine, this will all be gone. I decided not to venture very much further though. Things were looking to get a little bit stormy, and by the time I got back over the ridge, they were for sure. Another storm had popped up behind that one I'd seen earlier, and it was absolutely churning. It kept building up as I was driving along kind of parallel to it. And I gotta admit that once it started going, it looked pretty spectacular. Stormy skies can be a little bit ominous, but there's a lot of beauty in them too. Especially when you're kind of beside them, with the sun shining and those dark cloud bottoms looming overhead. Roads like this in a sudden downpour, though, not quite as lovely. I suspect Mama Moose and her baby would have completely different opinions from mine on the beauty of thunderstorms. Especially ones this early in the year. Spring, it's still just getting going. And summer, it's nowhere near having begun. But it could just be that thunderstorm season, it's already here.